Let's jump into this first story. All right, we got this from timcast.com. Biden administration says air near derailed train and controlled chemical burn is safe amid concerns of water contamination. As soon as I read that headline, I could hear Luke Rudkowski screaming at the top of his lungs all the way from Florida. Ah! Because, as you know, they said the air was safe to breathe on 9/11, which it absolutely was not. And so the reason, in my opinion, they would tell you the air is safe to breathe is because they want you to go work to solve that problem. Mm-hmm. Hey, look, I get it. You got a problem. If nobody wants to go and work to put the fire out and stop the chemical spill, then it keeps getting worse. But you're not going to convince someone to go do it if you tell them the truth about how toxic the air is. The Ohio Department of Natural Resources reports the 3,500 fish in the area have died since the derailment. Photos of actually, I think I have a photo right here. Is this, do I have the photo? Okay, here's the radius.
Oh, God.
Wall Street Silver says the cloud radius of the chemical burn in Ohio is huge. Yep, we're in it. Because most of you know we're in Western Maryland, West Virginia, so we're absolutely getting hit by this. And I think we have a picture of this. This is Spike Cohen. Yeah. He says, I am infinitely more concerned with the raging chemical fire in East Palestine. Is it East Palestine? Is that what it is?
Yeah. East Palestine, Ohio.
Oh, wow. Than I am with the NORAD playing whack-a-mole with balloons. You know, look, I'm deeply concerned about this toxic plume of chemical gas and particulates.
This is the controlled burn. They did this on purpose.
Are you for real?
I'm being totally serious. Because initially this train, it's got 100 cars, 100 plus, and 50 of them derailed. And they caught fire, and a half mile of this town was just on fire.
Whoa.
And then they were like, well, it turns out we've got a lot of chemicals on here, and so we need to do something about that, or else they'll pressurize and explode, and we'll send shrapnel everywhere. So the best thing we can do is have a controlled burn. This is interesting because how can the Environmental Protection Agency tell you the air is clean when they haven't released the full list of chemicals that were on board these cars? They also, one of them, I believe it's vinyl chloride, can settle on surfaces and you have to clean it because it's colorless. You don't know it's there unless you test for it.
You know, it's funny hearing the story after Joe Biden just talked about toxic burn pits in the State of the Union address, you know, and his son and cancer and all that stuff. And it's just like, this sounds like it's a lot worse than that.
This sounds really, really bad.
But don't worry, they lifted the evacuation order, so everyone should go back to their houses here.
What is that map you're looking at? Is that the water table?
Yeah, so I have a picture of the Ohio River Basin Aquifer, and so I find this really interesting. So you showed the radius of basically as the air flows, but this is as water travels through the Ohio River, which a couple different cities are starting to pick up that there are actually chemicals in the water there. It flows basically from Pennsylvania through West Virginia all the way through Tennessee and Kentucky. This is interesting to me. I'm not going to go conspiracy here, but this is a region I have been introduced to as Pennsyltucky, which overwhelmingly supported Donald Trump. It also has a lot of poverty and not a lot of great health care. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's interesting that as the water becomes contaminated, it's in this specific region of the country. Again, coincidental, it's where the train derailed, but...
Well, it's just, it's giving me Flint, Michigan vibes.
It's giving me Flint, Michigan and CDC vibes too.
Yeah.
You know, like this, if the
you mean just government lying to you about safety in general?
Exactly.
Vibes?
Well, there's also people kids are taking a TikTok that live in the area, and they're saying that FEMA hasn't showed up, that basically people are displaced and that they have no food and no resources. The Red Cross has not shown up, and that the churches and the restaurants are feeding the refugees of East Palestine, Ohio.